Alex also hits his third land drop. See, he has a Hordling Outburst in his hand, which is a card I imagine he'll play. There are not really too many great answers to Anafenza in Alex's deck. He has a Stoke the Flames, I guess, and Chain to the Rocks, but Lightning Strike doesn't match up very well with it. So Joe's going to take a draw step. Draws another land, which is pretty good when you have keep a 2-lander and then eventually draw 2 lands to be able to cast your 3 and 4 mana spells. So Joe's going to attack in with Anafenza, hit Alex down to 16. And then I think he's going to follow it up with the Siege Rhino here.
I like that. I like the Hordling Outburst to kind of hold off Anafenza at bay, but now with the Siege Rhino, it's definitely an issue.
Joe's curve is pretty good here. Alex, though, does have a Chain to the Rocks, so he can chain the Rhino or the Anafenza if he so chooses. So he's going to chain the Rhino. He's going to get in there for 3. I think there's probably I think Alex may have been better served there. Well, I don't know. He's going to play Hordling Outburst, so he's going to use his mana all in full. There's a line there where you can keep a Goblin back to block the Anafenza and then Lightning Strike. But Alex is just going to chump block here. And Joe is going to follow up with a Fleecemane Lion, I believe. So, good reason to keep around that Lightning Strike then, if we can Lightning Strike this Fleecemane Lion.
Definitely.
So Alex draws an Outpost Siege, which is an interesting one. So I imagine he's going to Lightning Strike this Fleecemane Lion. Going to get blown out by Abzan Charm. Now he's going to get another Lightning Strike. Then he's going to crash in for 5, put Joe to 13.
So now it's becoming a game here after Alex kind of sets up a board position, facing down Joe's obviously much stronger creatures.
Yeah, and Joe, unfortunately for him, has a Hero's Downfall, which doesn't really match up very well against the Horde of Goblins, and then another Anafenza and a Mana Confluence in hand. So obviously can't cast an Anafenza since of the Legend rule. And this Hordling Outburst is kind of just pretty anemic.
Correct.
So we'll see what line he takes. Once again, these players are playing for larger triangular trophies and eventually a banner.
Yeah, sweet banner.
Yeah, definitely is pretty sweet. He's going to attack in for 4. Alex is going to go down to 19. Or down to 9, I mean. My apologies there. And Alex drew a Stoke the Flames for this turn. Looks like he is going to cast a Monastery Mentor, and then I wonder if he's just going to send in. Yep,
send in 3 goblins.
Attack for 3, pretty much just representing that he has the Stoke the Flames. So Joe's going to try to Hero's Downfall the Mentor. Alex is going to tap it to stoke it, kill Anafenza, and trigger and make a monk. Joe's going to take 3 and go to 9. No board, but he does have a backup Anafenza in hand. And I'm not sure what he drew there.
That monk token is in play, right? That was off the Stoke that
yes.
just got created.
So Joe going to play a backup Anafenza and pass back to Alex. Looks like Joe drew another Anafenza. It's pretty miserable, I think, for Joe. Alex is going to cast an Outpost Siege.
That seems good.
Trigger Prowess. Make it so I imagine he's going to choose the Dragons mode.
Yeah.
It chooses 1. I don't know what 1 means. Is that the 1 damage mode?
I believe so.
Yeah. So Joe's going to block the monk, and I imagine take 6. So Joe going to take 5. Looks like Alex chose the draw card mode.
And that's all it really takes.
Yep, that's it. So
holy cow.
Red-white deck. 2 of them in the top 8 here. Look pretty good there.
I mean, the deck is fast, and Outpost Siege really gets out of hand when combined with Hordling Outburst and things like that.
Yeah, indeed. Joe just had a really awkward draw there. He had 2 Anafenzas, 3 Anafenzas when he already had 1 on board, so essentially just drawing dead cards, especially when Alex can just chump block it. He doesn't really care.
Yeah, Alex takes game 1 pretty handedly over the list. Now, let's check out their sideboards real fast. What do we got?
So, we've seen both these players already, so
yeah.
you might be familiar with their lists, which will be going up on StarCityGames.com and Nerd Rage Gaming. Nerd Rage Gaming's Facebook also. So Joe Bernal, he's got 2 Back to Nature, 2 God's Willing, 2 Sorin Solemn Visitor, 2 Utter End, 3 Hushwing Griff, 3 Bioblade, and a Glare of Heresy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like in this matchup Bioblades, some Sorin Solemn Visitors, perhaps a Glare of Heresy. Joe just has 1. I don't really like that many Glare of Heresies against this type of deck because, although I guess Alex is now playing more white cards than they were before. So before they were playing a lot of red cards, Rebel Master, Stormbreath Dragon, things like that, where Glare Heresy wasn't all that great. So Bioblight for sure, Sorns for sure. Yeah, I'm not hugely sold on the Utter End, although Joe did see Outpost Siege there, so he might be bringing in Utter End if that is a card he's afraid of. Moving on to Alex's sideboard. He has 1 Soulfire Grandmaster, 1 Searing Blood, 2 Arc Lightning, 1 Valorous Stance, 2 Hushwing Griff, 2 Erase, 2 Glare Heresies, 2 Brimaz King of Oreskos, and 2 Stormbreath Dragons. Cards I like here are Stormbreath Dragon, Valorous Stance, Hushwing Griff, Glare of Heresy, and potentially Brimaz. Stormbreath Dragon's good. Joe only has really 3 Heroes Downfalls that kill it. The rest of his removal is Valorous Stance, doesn't kill it, Abzan Charm, doesn't kill it. So Joe is going to be hard-pressed to get rid of a Resolved Stormbreath Dragon. Hushwing Griff is a good way to blank Siege Rhino, although looking at Joe's deck, he's doesn't have the Wingmat Rocks that this deck was playing before, so I might not actually bring the Hushwing Griffs in. Valorous Stance is good, kills Anafenza, kills Courser of Krufix, kills Siege Rhino, kills Sazagar, kills all those cards. And then I think I like Brimaz. Lines up pretty well against a lot of Joe's threats. Able to trade with Anafenza, get a little bit of value in that the 1/1 still sticks around. Roadblocks the Warden of the first tree and the Fleetspeed line. So
it also Brimaz, in that same vein, I like the fact that it allows him to produce extra tokens that then can just get around a lot of Joe's more powerful single drop creatures.
Yeah.
It's a great attacker in this situation.
Yeah, plus it's another chump blocker for racing. It's a vigilant attacker, which is always pretty good in a race.
So we'll see the players shuffle up here. I mean, definitely going to be taking their time.
Yep, playing for quite a
$5,000.
Not exactly.
Well, not yeah, sure.
No, that's the cash price for the entire event.
Yes.
Yeah. So Joe did bring in Utter End, and looks like he's shaking his head.
I can't actually. This was the one when we were talking about sideboards. This was one time I was going to say I actually don't like Utter End here.
Well, Joe brought it in, and it looks like he's got a Sandstep Citadel in 1 in hand, and there's a turn 2 Warden of the first tree. Alex playing a Battlefield Forge on turn 1.
Has Mountain Plains in hand.
Looks like he's going to chain to the rocks the Warden of the first tree, which is interesting, and then doesn't have a follow-up from there. Joe gonna run out his Fleecebane Lion and pass it back. Doesn't have a 3rd land, and right off the top for Alex, he draws that Lightning Strike to take care of the Fleecebane Lion. Although he did bring in Brimaz, which also roadblocks this card pretty well, and I think that's probably what he's gonna go with there. So Joe can't attack.
There it is.
There's old Brimaz, old Cat King. So Joe does find his 3rd land though, so it looks like he's gonna be able to Abzan Charm or Hero's Downfall this Brimaz away, which is unfortunate for Alex, but don't think the end of the world. He can also shove in and then see if Alex blocks, which, I mean, Alex, if Joe attacks, I'm not blocking, but we'll see.
It was a pretty timely Brimaz. I think that was perfectly on schedule, but now with the possibility of removal, yeah, it's definitely tough.
Yeah, so Alex correctly chooses not to block an obvious Abzan Charm, and we'll see what Joe's follow-up is here. Yeah, he's going to play the Abzan Charm that he obviously telegraphed by attacking there. Although I think it's a great bluff, even if you don't have it. So there's a Lightning Strike. Alex, though, unfortunately, no creatures, no follow-ups. So Joe looks like he's probably going to be able to resolve a Sorin here, because I think he drew a Forest for the turn. Other options are cast a Warden and make it a 3/3. But I think I like just making it a Sorin. But nope, Joe is instead going to make Mega Warden. Alex is going to play a Battlefield Forge,
Hmm.
and it looks like he's going to run out of Sarkin, which Joe correctly
Hero's Downfall?
keeps up mana to
Yeah,
Hero's Downfall.
definitely.
Yeah. So it's like Joe knew he had it in his hand. There's the Sorin.
That's a good play.
I imagine this is probably going to make Vampire, but this is pretty close to. The thing that I like about this Sorin is that it ultimates very quickly if you do choose to do that. Although
Correct.
most people will just make a Vampire, and I think that's probably largely the correct play. Well, unclear as to what Joe did. His dice are difficult to see, and we don't have a Vampire yet. So, I'm sure if he made a Vampire, or
It looks like due to life swings, I think he went for the lifelink option.
okay, so he's on the try to ultimate this thing,
Yeah.
and it's gonna get blown up by a Stormbreath Dragon here, which is gonna attack the Sorin down to 1. And like I said, yeah, Joe doesn't have very many good answers to this card. He just top decked one, so
So
yeah, you can't argue with top decking. Gonna plus the Sorin, and then I imagine Hero's Downfall this Stormbreath Dragon after we attack in for 2. Putting Alex down to 11. Gonna go up to 24. Yeah, so pretty good for Joe there that he was able to top deck that Stormbreath Dragon. And Alex is gonna have to chain to the rocks this guy, but unfortunately for him, Joe can just continue plussing Sorin and then make a Vampire.
yeah, I think the damage from the Warden has already been done.
Yeah.
Not to mention an Utter End in hand now takes care of a Chain to the Rocks if Joe really wants one of those Warden back.
Correct, yeah. It's a good call. Alex is going to use his Evolving Wilds to get a Mountain out of his deck. So, Joe in a pretty good position here after finding that one of his second of 3 Heroes Downfalls to take care of Alex's Stormbreath Dragon. Although another Stormbreath Dragon here would be pretty good for Alex.
I mean, it'd be timely, that's for sure.
Yeah, but Lightning Strike is like not awful. He's able to kill the Sorin.
Sure.
Joe's going to let it die, and then probably Utter End a Glare of Heresy, I think here. Or Utter End a Chain to the Rocks, my apologies. He can also draw some cards. Yeah, so that's what he's going to do instead. Just
Choose
probably
the
better.
node to
Yeah,
draw.
he just needs a little bit more action. So Joe Bernal going to draw 2 cards and draw for turn. So it looks like he found Siege Rhino and Fleecebane Lion. So he's going to cast a Siege Rhino here. Put Alex down to 8, and he's going to go up to 27. Alright. Alex going to draw another land. So Alex is flooding out pretty badly here. He's going to chain to the rocks that thing. And pass it back. So Joe going to get some value off of this Utter End now, and that he's able to Utter End it and then get another Siege Rhino trigger. But before that, he's going to play a Temple of Malady. Baiting on the Scry. Chips it to the bottom. So, going to pass back to Alex. We'll see what Alex is going to draw. He's just going to pass. This looks like he's going to glare. So, it's a Hushwing Griff in response. Boom! Yeah, doesn't get any value off of that. But now he has a 4/5 facing down a 2/1. No, I think the 4/5 is definitely the scary part, especially when our opponent has another Utter End in hand. So this Siege Rhino is just never going to die. Yeah. Joe's going to play another Giant Threat. So Alex needs an end hostilities here, which none of them are in his deck. So I think he's probably gonna fall to Joe here. Joe going to pass. Alex going to draw for his turn and then scoop him up.
So that was kind of a defining role. You got to see a lot of Joe's strong creatures just come up and rip wall Alex and playing a game he didn't want to play. I mean, just the flooding also.
Yeah. And then the timely top decks by Joe, getting that Hero's Downfall to take care of that Stormbreath Dragon that would have been quite difficult for him to handle. So, moving on to game 3. Hopefully Andrew's mics gets fixed here. Alex being on the play, I think, is a pretty big deal for him. So, being on the play is usually where you want to be in games of Magic, especially when you're two aggressive decks facing off against each other.
Yeah, definitely.
So, going back to sideboarding, Joe might sideboard out a land here. I like to sideboard out lands when I'm on the draw.
Oh, we got the list for top 8 here. What do we got? We've got. I know people have been asking in chat for this. So here's your top 8 list for anybody who's following along again. We've got Bruce Collins in the top 8. We've got George J, Mr. Joe Bernal, and Alex Preisig that you guys see on camera right now. Kent Ketter has also made it in the top 8. We got Riza S, Collins Miller, and then Jeff Hoogland rounds out our top 8.
Yep, so pretty nice top 8.
Yeah, definitely.
Unsure what Reza is playing, but I think Bruce is playing. Bruce I think is playing blue-black control.
Okay.
George Jabor I think is playing an Abzan aggro deck. Joe Bernal on the Abzan aggro also. Alex on red-white mentor as we see. Kent playing the Tamir Ascendancy deck. Colin Mullins I believe is also playing a red-white deck, and Jeff Hoogland as we saw in the match before this playing the Tamir aggro deck. So.
Yeah, these red-white decks, we just saw in Twitch chat earlier also that one of the other finals was a red-white mirror match.
Yeah, from what I've heard by talking to people today, that they played a lot of red-white decks, and when they played them, they felt like they should have played them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the overall conclusion then, huh?
Yeah. I talked to people who played Jeskai aggro and said, yeah, I should have just played red-white. It's just a more consistent and better deck.
Sure, and that's, I mean, that's understandable. I'd be hard pressed to believe though that if you had practiced with a standard deck that you had felt comfortable with coming into this tournament, you would have done a good job. I mean, our top 8 is varied to some degree. I mean, we see 2 red-white kind of mentor lists. We see an Abzan aggro list. We've got Kent Ketter playing the Tamir Ascendancy list that he's just had great success for. I mean, I watched a game he was finishing up off camera where he demonstrated to his opponent how much mana he could make, and then demonstrated to his opponent the fact that he could bounce and recast his entire board in one swing. You know what I mean? Essentially, one go. So he's like, I'm going to make a bunch of mana, bounce these guys, play these guys, Tamir Ascendancy trigger, I'm going to draw X cards from like 2 Eidolons and another Tamir Sabertooth, draw 3 cards, bounce them again, play them again. I mean, it was really, really ridiculous. Very cool, though. I mean,
yeah, that
great
deck is
to watch.
sweet.
It was very cool to watch on camera.
I think it's pretty interesting that people were able to find that interaction so quickly, too. I know, like, even the first SCG Open that they had in DC, somebody had, I believe, found that deck.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think MTG Salvation had that deck once Tamir Sabertooth had gotten printed. So definitely a pretty cool deck.
I remember getting news of it, and somebody walked up to me in the shop and said, "Hey, there's this Tamir Ascendancy list," and I said, "There's always been a Tamir Ascendancy list." In my head, hearing Jeskai.
Okay.
And I was like, but there's always been one of those Ascendancy lists. And they're like, no, Tamir. And I'm like, oh, all right, okay.
Now we just need the Mardu Ascendancy, the Sultai Ascendancy. What am I missing?
What'd you say, Sultai Mardu?
Yeah.
Tamir, Jeskai. Oh boy, are we missing one?
Man, it's been a long day. Yeah.
Are we
missing
Abzan?
One. Abzan. Yeah.
Abzan.
Ooh, that's one I like. Actually.
You like Abzan?
Yeah, I think that one's the one that has the most potential.
Really?
Yeah.
Over Sultai?
Yeah, over Sultai.
I can see Sultai getting pretty good. Looks like we're gonna have a quick bathroom break.
Yeah.
Table Judge letting Alex go for a quick. These guys have been playing Magic for a long time today.
Yeah.
Not to mention we've been commentating for a long time.
We sure have.
This has been a deep day in the booth. Thank you guys for putting up with all the kind of troubles we've been having with the internet here and the logistics of running this operation. It's something to be said about an event like this where even Star City has promoted, you may get 100, 150 players to 200 players. I don't think anybody who hosted a regional today around the country thought they were going to see this many players. I mean, whether it's, the 411 players that registered here, 300 players that, were performing or registering at another event. I mean, this is definitely, a big, just a big event overall, and you have to kind of take the good with the bad. So, thanks for putting up with that and checking us out. And watching the stream.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for watching the stream. You know, this is a good time. It's very enjoyable. I like interacting with interacting with the chat. So, gotta watch some good games of Magic today. But I'm pretty tired. I'm not gonna lie. I need some coffee, some some tea.
Some tea. You need your tea.
Maybe a beer or two.
A beer sounds pretty good right now.
The beer sounds delicious.
It sounds great.
Can we promote drinking on stream? Does that make this
Well, we kind of did, but there's no timer in top 8.
yeah.
So no reason to worry about a timer here. When you move to top 8, that is not necessary.
Yeah, on time rounds, you just obviously can't continue to play slow. You must play at a reasonable pace. I
Correct.
believe is the judge terminology. So, looks like Alex has quickly made it back from the bathroom here. Hopefully he washed his hands, and now he's manhandling Joe's deck.
Maybe that's his plan. Get Joe sick.
Sure.
Not wash hands. Get Joe sick.
Yeah, I'm pretty
That's
sure
a bad plan.
That most viruses or bacteria that you would give to Joe has a residence time in your body of a couple of days, so he's not immediately going to get sick. So not a very good plan if you're Alex. I think the better plan is getting a good hand here and just coming out strong and crushing. But we'll see.
I hope to see another good a good Monastery Mentor show from Alex, like we saw earlier in his feature match. I think that card is just the work.
Yeah, so it looks like both players are going to keep 7. Nope, Joe Bernal going to ship it back. Didn't like what he saw. Alex going to keep 7. Looks like Alex has some lands and some spells. I think 3 lands, 4 spells. Hordling Outburst in there, Chain to the Rocks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Have we done all of our card discussions for today, or do we have one more?
No, we've done them all.
We've got them all, huh?
Yeah. White, black, green, red, blue. We did it all.
Wow.
Colorless.
Colorless. We didn't name.
Talk about Ugin.
Yeah. What was it going to be? It was going to be Ugin, just right in the center of the page, and then one of our picks would have been Ghostfire Blade.
Sure. Just do artifacts count as colorless cards?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So.
I mean, they are.
I would put Vial of the Dragonfire in there.
No.
Which has not been released, but
Vial.
hopefully a good card.
You know what? I would have made my pick. Alternative Art Briber's Purse.
Okay.
That would have been mine. Let's flog some kids.
Are we playing now? We're just playing like standard bingo, essentially.
Yeah.
Joe gonna keep his 6, and
Here we go.
gonna start off with a Temple of Malady after Alex plays a Battlefield Forge. Alex, no turn 2 play. So Joe though does have a turn 2 play, which is going to enable Alex's turn 2 play of a Lightning
There's the
Strike.
Lightning Strike, yeah.
So Alex looks like he's probably going to be able to get an unchecked Rabble Master here, but Joe does have a Hero's Downfall, so he will be able to take care of this, but Alex is still going to get the value off the token. So Joe does Hero's Downfall the Rabble Master, and go back to Alex. Alex is going to attack in for 1, put Joe to 18, and then follow it up with a Hordling Outburst.
I like that.
So I don't like this if Joe has Bowblight. It feels
Of course.
awful. But lucky for Alex, Joe does not. Although unlucky for Alex, he does have a Siege Rhino and an Anafenza. But it looks like he has several lands in his hand, which on a Mold of 6 is not really where you want to be. He does have, I think, Sorin, 2 lands, Anafenza.
He has I mean, Joe is kind of probably playing with I'd say a healthier hand of land, just because of the amount of threats that he has to play that are high casting cost and require multiple colors. You're looking at Siege Rhino, Anafenza, even Tassigar. Yes, you have to delve, but
Yeah, I completely agree. Alex, though, is going to chain to the rocks as Siege Rhino after Joe gained some life and drained Alex. So get the life totals up to speed here. I believe Joe's at 16 and Alex is at 17. Alex is also at 16. He had to take a point of damage to cast his chain to the rocks.
that's
So
16, 15 from the table judges there.
So Joe gonna cast Anafenza and ship it back. So Alex really living on borrowed time here. It looks like Joe does have a Bile Blight in his hand. I believe.
What do we see?
Gonna be a Stormbreath Dragon,
I like
which is definitely a sweet one. Yeah, so Joe does have that Bile Blight. Gonna Bile Blight the Goblin tokens, take a damage to do so, but he is gonna take 1 from the Stormbreath Dragon and go to 11. So really looking for an answer to this Stormbreath Dragon. This Sarkin can make can provide some roadblocks to it, but yeah, I mean, only a couple of turns of roadblocks here, and I don't think Joe's going to have enough time to race it. So, but he's going to go with the lifelink mode on Sarkin, or Sorin, my bad. And Anafense is going to attack for 5, and Alex is going to go out on 10, and Joe's going to go up to 16. So, Alex draws a good one. Looks like he drew a Chain to the Rocks. Going to cast an Outpost Siege here.
Boy, I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
One of my standout cards, I think, in this current stand-in meta right now.
So, looks like Alex is going to attack Joe with this Sorin, or with the Stormbreath Dragon, I believe, which is interesting.
Dropping him to 12.
Dropping him to 12, yeah. Joe draws an Utter End, so is able to Utter End one of those Chain to the Rocks, if he so chooses. Probably the one
on Siege Rhino.
On Siege Rhino, yeah.
Yep.
So, Outpost Siege that's an interesting one.
I believe it's on the...
The line by Alex attacking Joe is kind of interesting. I don't really know what his plan is, because he's killed the creature. Joe's only option then is to tick up, and then after that he can just ultimate the Sorin, which would kill his Stormbreath Dragon. So,
Joe gets it, correct? Or am I thinking the old Sorin?
No, Joe.
I'm thinking,
the ultimate on Sorin
thinking,
is your opponent gets an emblem, or
correct.
You get an emblem that makes it so they have to
the Abyss, right?
Yeah. Sacrifice a creature at their upkeep. So,
boy, that's how you know I thought it was old Sorin was correct. Kill creatures, planeswalkers, you gain them.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
No.
No,
sir.
Not anymore. The Abyss is still good, though.
No,
like,
yeah,
the
Abyss is definitely still good.
That's a
Joe's
going
to make a vampire here.
He's looking for vampire tokens.
And looks like we are now going
there
to
we
all
go.
work in tandem to provide a vampire token.
That was the table
Great
judge.
Teamwork, guys.
Table judge Alex and Joe.
So it looks like Alex has another Stormbreath Dragon in hand. Unfortunately, no way to deal with a Siege Rhino, although he draws the Lightning Strike off the Siege, and looks like a Goblin Rabblemaster. So Alex can Lightning Strike the Sorin, killing that.
Can we go in with the Rabblemaster here?
No, I imagine he's going to cast the Rabblemaster, trigger, and then attack. So let's see what Joe decides to do here. Joe can take the damage, go to 7, then end step. He can
Utter End the Runner.
Utter End the Chain to the Rocks, and then hope to So I think Joe's going to Utter End here, put Alex to 6 off this, getting his Rhino back.
Yep.
And then Alex is going to be forced to chump block, unless Joe draws a removal spell, in which case Alex is just going to be dead. So Alex should be pinging Joe for a life there because his creature left the battlefield. No, actually, no, he's on the other half of that card.
Correct.
Yeah, so Alex does have to chump block. Going to go to 2. Joe going to play another land. And Alex is at 11. He really could... So he's going to draw a Lightning Strike. It looks like another land.
Was that a land?
Yeah. So I think Alex is fine here if he plays some defense. So now he has 2 Stormbreath Dragons.
Oh, but he doesn't have enough to cast the Lightning Strike.
So the Lightning Strike should be exiled. So once again, any removal spell or a Siege Rhino kills...
It's a Courser. Yes, that is exiled, Joe says. Here's my Courser. Flip the top card.
Alright, here we go. Courser going to reveal all the suspense for us.
This is going to be nuts. Look at...
it's
no,
a mana
it's
confluence,
a mana confluence.
He's going to be able to gain a life off of it and get rid of it.
Does Alex still kill him, though, if he draws a land off of the Outpost Siege? He can Monstrous a Stormbreath.
No, he only has 1 card in hand, so that's 10 damage, but he has a flyer. So I don't believe so. What he really needs, and what Alex is... Alex needs a lot of help, I think, now.
I mean, he can.
If he chained to the rocks, yeah, he just can't kill Joe.
Really?
Yeah, Joe's at 11, so unless he finds some way to monstrous and kill the flyer.
Oh,
in
that's
one turn.
true. Oh, the vampires have flying now. See, this is how behind I am on
Yeah,
Soren.
the other Soren
I
does
know.
not. Yeah.
Other Soren, the vampires do not have flying. They have lifelink. So this is how far I am. Oh man, but he could fetch. No, don't fetch. Well, I guess it wouldn't.
Yeah, it doesn't
With
matter.
the Corsair, it doesn't matter.
He's probably just trying to. I'd just play the land off the top here.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
Save
probably
the fetch land for like a card
Sure.
you really don't want, like a thought. Well, he doesn't have Thoughtseize, but like maybe a Valorous stance,
Mm-hmm.
which is just pretty miserable.
boy some suspense.
Yep.
Oh,
Alex reveals.
It's
there's-
another
looks like
outpost siege.
So I mean
Oh.
that card is like. No, because Alex is just dead here. Yeah.
yeah.
Dead to the
Wow.
attacks. So Joe Bernal is going to get Alex Preisig in 3 games, and that was a pretty good match.
That was very suspenseful. Down to the wire there.
I guess Joe Bernal's Abzan deck I think is pretty sweet.
We were talking about the list earlier, and it's definitely streamlined. I think is the word I like for it. It's a very efficient list.
Yeah.
It's not playing any fluff. It's not playing any filler. It's playing the cards you need to play to kill your opponent on time.
Right. Yeah. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think had Alex taken a different line there and attacked the Soren initially with the Stormbreath Dragon, Joe would not have been able to make that vampire that eventually did prevent him from killing. Joe. So.
Yeah, definitely. So that was the first of one of our top 8 matches. We're going to just go on quick pause right here and go see if we can wrangle up some information as far as how the other top 8 matches are going. So bear with us, guys. I'm going to throw up the host screen real quick, and we will be back in probably 5 minutes here. We're just going to go check the other matches outside of the booth, so give us 1 second.